They're called No Barrier Days, and the goal is to get community groups to do some outreach and get people into the hospital to get the vaccine in thetheir arms. From language barriers to difficulty navigating the technology, to even some hesitancy about getting the COVID-19 vaccine, there are several issues that may be putting a wall up between minority populations and getting vaccinated. At Stamford Hospital, they're tearing down that wall.
We are the most diverse city in the state of Connecticut, and so we are consciously reaching out to those communities that might otherwise not take advantage of this great opportunity.
Groups like Building One Community, a nonprofit that works with immigrants, are doing that outreach, assuring people that they will be safe, no matter their immigration status, whether or not they have insurance, or where they live.
They come here and they don't even need an ID. We just want a name, and if the name is only Pablo, Pablo it is. Right? So the importance is that we're trying to make it as easy as possible and not question us.
The efforts seem to be working. Out of Connecticut's largest cities, Stamford is leading the way with 57.6% of its 75 and older population vaccinated with the first dose, compared to Bridgeport at 32%, New Haven at 44%, and Hartford at 45%. This week, the Department of Public Health said it needs to do more to vaccinate high-risk populations that were disproportionately affected by the virus and are now falling behind on getting vaccinated too.
And doing everything we can to reach out to different underserved communities, tell them if we make it easy for you, convince you it's safe, get somebody you trust, maybe it's a minister or a friend, to reach out to you and tell you this will make a difference in your life.
In addition to outreach and education, the state also plans to increase allocations to under-vaccinated areas and direct providers to focus on distributing to those areas as well. Manuel Cartagena, a Stamford resident, was among those getting the vaccine Friday and wanted to encourage others to do the same.
No tuvo ningún problema haciendo su cita.
Muy simple, rápido. Sí, no había problema. Estoy contento porque en verdad es una oportunidad para estar más tranquilo.
In Stamford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.